Hello, guys. This is Ifeoma Odunlami, immigration attorney from the Odunlami law firm. Happy Friday. Hi, guys. Join me. I have a great topic. For real, for real. This topic is a topic I have not done before. And I think the reason I have not done it before is because I have an article on it. I have an ebook. So if you guys, I have this free immigration resources. They're ebooks that I wrote. You can get the ebook by going to my website and subscribing to our newsletter. You will get all our ebooks, and they're packed with really good information. So thank you guys for joining me. Please let me know you're here in the comment section. Say hello. I know it's Friday and we're all tired, but 5 p.m. I figure that you guys should have gotten off work, and this is a good time to chat about this very important topic. So, hello everyone. For those who do not know me, my name is Ifeoma Odunlami. I am an immigration attorney from the Odunlami law firm in Cedar Knolls, New Jersey, and my firm serves clients in all 50 states. So our phone number is 973-993-1900. If you have immigration issues, we're here to help you. We're immigrants helping fellow immigrants get legal status without fear, without anxiety. We're here for you to feel supported during your immigration process. So what is the topic I'm talking about? I am talking about how to write a winning VAWA declaration. That's correct. How are you going to write a winning VAWA declaration? This is what I'm going to talk about today. I have about 30 minutes. I want to get in as much as I can. So what is VAWA? Now, there should be nobody that does not know what VAWA is. Violence Against Women's Act. So VAWA applies to men, it applies to women, it applies to children of U.S. citizens or green card holders, spouses of U.S. citizens or green card holders, and parents of U.S. citizens who are over 21. So the underlying core of a VAWA claim is that you have a relationship to this immediate relatives and you have suffered abuse. And so as part of the VAWA case, you have to write your story, talk about what you went through. And the reason is because you don't get interviewed as part of your VAWA case. You do as part of your adjustment of status case, but not as part of your VAWA case. And so that makes it even more important that you write your story, and your story is basically tells your story. You write your story about the abuse you've suffered, and that story lays it out in a way that's straightforward, credible, so that your the officer who's reviewing your VAWA declaration, your application, understands what you went through. This is your one shot at well, it's not really your one shot because they can send you a request for evidence if they want more information, but really try and get it, do a really great job the first time. So I'm going to tell you how to write a VAWA declaration. There are many ways to do it. This is just one of the ways that we do our VAWA declarations for our clients. We interview them, we ask them these questions, they answer, and so we help them with putting together their application. So I will look at questions once I'm done. I just want to get this information out, okay? So what is your VAWA declaration? It's your personal statement. And like I said, this is a statement that basically lays out in very clear details what you've been through and why you qualify for VAWA. So typically I start with the background information, right? Identify the petitioner who's applying for VAWA, how they came into the United States, name, address. So sometimes I even go a little deep and ask about, their family situation, the things that have happened in their lives in the past that were of importance. Because sometimes I like to link it to the abuse and how they were more susceptible to the abuse they suffered, or how the abuse impacted them even worse than an average person because of the background they had. So I will typically ask people if Does anything significant about their background, their upbringing, anything that, was tragic, sad, and as they tell me the story, I'm able to make connections between what's happened in the past and what they're going through. So with that background information, the next step is you want to talk about your relationship with your abuser. So for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to talk about the marital relationship, because that typically is the more complex one, because you have the added requirement of proving a bona fide marriage. So as part of proving this bona fide marriage, because that's what VAWA requires, you want to talk about your relationship with the abusive spouse, how you met the person, how the relationship progressed, what it was about the person that you were attracted to, why did you decide that this was a person you wanted to marry, how long did you date, did you guys live together before getting married, did you guys move in together after you got married, what are the things you guys did as part of your relationship that was fun, and basically, show us the progression of the relationship from when you met to when you tied the knot. And then when you want to talk about the wedding, was it a big wedding, a small wedding, were there family members? If not, why not? Where did you live when you moved in together, the first time? How did the relationship go? How did the marriage start out when you got married initially? Now, for everybody, the story is different. Sometimes some people see the red flags even before the marriage. Like, I know people who were abused, like physically abused before the marriage, but they still went ahead with the marriage, because the nature of abuse is such that the victims sometimes, they feel helpless. They feel they have to continue in this relationship. And, abuse is very complicated, I got to tell you, but I know it when I hear it. And sometimes, a lot of times, it's not even physical abuse. It's the constant calling, constant checking up, constant accusations of cheating, control. Sometimes that's what it is. And some people don't see it as abuse initially, because they think it's love, And of course, there's a lot of love bombing. When you meet a person, they're perfect. They're calling you all the time. They're so attentive. So you don't pay attention to the other signs of abuse, because that all that attention feels good at that time. So for some people, they don't notice the abusive signs immediately until they're well into the relationship, well into the marriage. And for some people, they notice, but maybe the abuse has already, got into their psyche. They feel that, look, I'm lucky to be with this person. What could I be with this person? Because that's what they've been made to believe. So as part of your VAWA declaration, you want to talk about the abuse. That's one important element of the VAWA declaration. So typically I'll ask my clients, well, how long was the relationship good for? Like, how long were you guys blissfully happy? And what was the first sign that there was a problem in this relationship? How did it start? What was the first thing that happened that kind of threw you off balance a little, like, oh my goodness, what just happened? And so you tell your story leading up to how it started, to the how it continued, and then you talk about the different types of abuse you suffered. If it was physical, shoving you, pushing you, breaking your things, tearing your documents, or was it fits of abusive jealous rage, where they're kicking you out of the house in bad weather, or leaving the house where they know nobody, and you have no way of getting to maybe to where you need to go, maybe to the grocery store, whatever. There's just many different things that start off the abuse process. So you want to talk about it. Everybody's story is different. But the most important thing is, when you're talking about your abuse, you want to talk about what happened, and as much as you can, put dates, times. The summer of 2022, we were going here, and this happened, and that happened. Because the the credibility is in the details, right? When you have a lot of details, as you tell the story, it's more credible than just very vague. And then he said this and he did this. So try to give dates, times, and if you can't get exact dates, give general dates. It was around sometime in the summer of 2021. This happened, that kind of stuff. And then you want to talk about what happened, how you reacted, how the abuse made you feel, and whether there was any, how that incident of abuse ended, and when the next one happened, how it made you feel. Were you sad? Did you feel worthless? Did you feel unvalued? Did you feel stupid? Were you humiliated? Were you embarrassed in front of people? Talk about it. Now, if there was physical abuse involved, did you take pictures? Did you talk to people? Did you go to the police? Did you go to the hospital? And now remember, I always tell you guys this: abuse does not have to be physical for you to win VAWA cases. Most of our VAWA cases are not abuse cases. They're not physical abuse cases. They're emotional, psychological, verbal, financial, sexual. There are different types of abuse that USCIS recognizes. That's the reason why VAWA is physical abuse or extreme cruelty. It doesn't have to be physical abuse. You don't have to have a police report. You don't have to have gone to the hospital. It could be extreme cruelty, right? Like hurting your child, hurting your pet. That's extreme cruelty. So you talk about your abuse story. You talk about how it made you feel. You talk about how the abuse continued, and if you have left the person, talk about the final act of abuse that made you feel so unsafe that you had to leave. If you're still with a person, if you're still living together, you want to talk about the reasons why you haven't left. It could be because you still love the person, or because you have no money, you have nowhere to go, or because there are many reasons. But the important thing is the story is yours, and you have to tell the story in as much detail as you can. And then, as part of your VAWA story declaration, you want to show that you're a person of good moral character. Do you, are you involved in community service? Are you helping any family members? You want to show you've never been, have you ever been arrested? If you have, well, that's a different, that's a different topic, because an attorney can assist you with that. But if you have not, you want to be able to say that. And if you have, explain why. Because I have clients who have been arrested because of the nature of the abuse. Sometimes you have the abuser call the police and pin a false charge on them, right? That happens all the time. So if that client has been arrested for domestic violence based on a call to the police by the abuser, we want to explain it, right? And if we have an abuser who has abused other people, either physically or in other ways, we also want to mention it there, right? That this person is a known abuser. This is what he did to the ex-girlfriend who pulled out a TRO on him, that kind of stuff. So the VAWA declaration, you should end it with, I certify that the above statements made by me are true to the best of my ability. I understand that if the above statements made by me are willfully false, I am subject to punishment. Something to that. You want to certify that you're telling the truth, and then you sign it and you date it, right? Now, for a lot of VAWA petitioners, they don't have a lot of physical evidence or a lot of evidence to show the abuse. That's why the VAWA declaration is so important. We have won cases on the strength of our declarations, right? But sometimes if you have certain proof, like evidence, because evidence is really important, it makes things easier, of course, but it doesn't mean that you must have it. It just, when you don't have the evidence, you just have to explain why you don't have it. So if you have evidence such as police records, arrest records, pictures, text messages, It may be a letter from your therapist. If you have tested positive for STDs that you got from your abuser, you want to put all of that there, right? Now, affidavits are always really important for those that have family members or friends who witnessed or were told about the abuse. So affidavits don't only have to be from people who have first-hand knowledge. It could be from people who have second, third-hand knowledge. Like she came to work that day, she was crying. I asked her what was wrong. She said her husband did this. That's not a first. That person didn't witness what happened, but they witnessed you come to work. They witnessed you crying, and you told them this. So that person can write an affidavit saying, well, this is what happened, this is what I was told, and this is what I saw, right? And some people may be like, before she got married, I was always able to contact him or her. And once they got married, I could not contact anymore. She was not returning my calls. One time I called and I heard screaming, just people who know, what happened. And some people be like, I just know something was different. She was reclusive or he was reclusive, didn't want to talk, didn't want to go anywhere. I couldn't figure out what it was. But later on, I found out that this was what happened. So for as many people that know or you've discussed with what you went through, their affidavits signed, of course, in front of a notary public is really important. So now, for those that don't have evidence, well, why don't you have evidence of this abuse? Did the person smash your phone, which contained the pictures of the injuries you suffered? Did the person threaten you and tell you to delete it? Otherwise, they're going to call you SJIS or get you deported. Did the person kick you out of the house and you didn't have a chance to go back in and you have nothing? You have to explain what went on or why you don't have any information, any evidence, right? And lucky for VAWA petitioners, the burden of proof is really any credible evidence. And any credible evidence really means your story has to match up. So you can't say this in your declaration, but other people's affidavits are saying something totally opposite. Because the standard is lower, right? You want to make sure that you're giving the story, making sure that it's credible, making sure you're not giving conflicting information. And if there's conflicting information, explain it. Because, like I said, you don't have a VAWA interview. Immigration officials do not ask you questions about the abuse you suffered. So you have a one shot to explain what you went through. And you want to make sure that there's no room for, other interpretation. So now sometimes we have petitioners who, as a result of the abuse they suffered, or while they're suffering the abuse, they're suffering health problems. For instance, are you getting migraines? Did you have to get a migraine medication? For instance, did you suffer anxiety? Did you see a therapist? Are you seeing a therapist? That kind of stuff. I mean, what you went through, and trust me, even though it's hard to tell the story, and I know because I interview my clients, we talk about the abuse, and our sessions take 2 hours, sometimes more, because sometimes we just have to take a break so that they can cry, get themselves together, and it's always very emotional, So if you're doing a declaration yourself, take the time to jot down the things you've been through, and just, take the time to begin to put it together, right? So what else? I think that's pretty much what I have to say for the declaration. But if you want to read my ebook, go to my website, sign on to our newsletter, you will get ebooks on all these topics, okay? So let me answer a couple of questions before I head on home to my family. Let's see, are there any questions here? Let's go down. I'm on Instagram. Let's see. Oh, okay, well, hello, everyone. Hello, Tasha. Hello, Bishop Tammy. Hello, Tito Lavida. Hello, Oluwasheye. Real Midday Josh. Thank you guys for joining. I'm just going to scroll real quick to the questions, but I'm grateful to all of you for joining. So Tito Lavida said, I reached out to your team and they were going to get back to me, but I never heard from your team. Oh my goodness, Tito Lavida, I do apologize for that. Please send us a DM, give us your number, and I will make sure that somebody responds to you, okay? You can call our phone number 973-993-1900 or send us a DM, Tito Lavida. I will make sure somebody gets back to you. I do apologize. So let's keep going. Any other question? So Josie5555 says, how should a witness write their story because they don't know how to start or finish? That was what this video was all about. So I hope that was helpful to you, Josie. I hope that answered your question. And going back, let's go. Then official to Onde says, what about someone that has a baby for a Nigerian citizen father in Nigeria that has passed away? So official, I'm not really, that question is not really, are you asking with regards to VAWA or just with regards to what? I think you would need to clarify that, and best is to call my office or call a lawyer and give them the details, because citizenship questions for children who were not born in America are very detail specific. So that's something we want to ask questions about. Sasha Goodas Perry. Hey Sasha, how are you? Says, after biometrics, when can you expect a work permit? So Sasha, that's a really great question. The work permit, it varies. You can get it as early as 4 months. You can get it as late as 10 months. The thing to do is, go to the case processing online case processing website and put in your information. That's really the best way to know what the average expectation is. But our office, what we've seen is it really just varies. It could be anywhere from 4 months to 10 months. Okay, so I hope that answered your question. And Bolaji says, I was wondering if you could help my case. Bolaji, I hope I can, but I need to know more about your case. So call my office, 973-993-1900. If we can help you, we'll be glad to. And Anike says, I can't hear anything. Can you guys hear me? I hope so. Nobody said they can't hear. So I hope maybe it's just your phone. And let's see. Heart Talking says, hey, Attorney Odunlami. Hey, how are you? You have a question? Go ahead. Tell us what the question is. So here's your question. I need to file I-485 after an approved I-360? So Heart Talking, that's a really great question. So my question to you would be, did you file your I-360 and an I-485 together? If you didn't, you can still file the I-485 before the approved I-360. So as long as you file an I-360 and you get a receipt, you can use that receipt to file an I-485. You don't have to wait for your I-360 to be approved, right? And then you can get the benefits of having an I-485, which is work permit, advanced parole, and all that. However, your I-485 will only be adjudicated, which means you will only get your green card after your I-360 has been approved. I hope that answers your question. So let's keep moving. So Josie says, I meant stories from neighbors, friends, and the likes. I think I lost the first question, so let me scroll back to what Josie said the first time. Josie. Josie, I can't see what the first question was. So Josie, do you mind just posting your question again in full, like in one complete question, so that I don't have to scroll out? Because you said I meant stories from neighbors, friends, and I don't remember what the first question was, and I can't find it. So Real Midday Josh says, hi, Mr. Odunlami, can you please talk about the types of Form I-797 Notice of Actions? Thank you very much, ma'am. So real midday, I'm thinking you're talking in terms of VAWA application. So the notice of actions is, well, the I-797 is when you get the receipts of all the things you filed with regards to VAWA. So you're filing the form I-360 485 765 131 864W. Now, if you file these documents, you will receive I-797 notice of actions. And if you file just the I-360, that's all you're going to receive. Anytime you file a form, the I-797, notice of action is the receipts, right? And then there are other I-797 notice of actions relating to the case, but I can't talk up every single one unless I know what case you're talking about, okay? So let's keep going. You know what? I'm going to go to YouTube because I've been on Instagram. Hi, Still Dre, how are you? So Still Dre says, what does it mean when FBI says they have evidence that your marriage was fake? You mean FBI or USCIS? Because I don't know if the FBI is involved in your immigration case in the sense that they're telling you your marriage is fake, but USCIS can say in their decision or in their notice of intent to deny, that they think that your marriage is fake. And that's not a great thing because there's something called 204C. 204C is basically a permanent bar to get a green card if they feel that your marriage is fake. However, if USCIS says your marriage is fake, doesn't mean that they're correct. You just have to fight back. That's it. We've gotten so many cases where clients come to us with annoyed where USCIS is saying that their marriage was fake, and we push back and we show them that it's a bona fide marriage. And let's see. So Imran says, hello, Mr. Odunlami. I'm grateful for what you do. I found out what VAWA was through you, and I'm now in the process of getting out of my bad marriage. Imran, I am so happy for you that this information freed you. And I'm telling you, once you file your VAWA and you're able to get your, all the benefits of VAWA, you will feel even more, you will feel even more strengthened, because that's the purpose of VAWA. Nobody should stay in a bad marriage because nobody should stay in a bad marriage, period, especially not for a green card, okay? So I'm really happy for you, Imran, and I wish you the very best, okay? All right, so let me go back to Instagram. So official to Ondi says there was a man that gave birth to 3 kids in Nigeria. He was able to file for one of them before he died and got a passport, but he wasn't able to file for the rest of his kids before he died. So official to Ondi, this is a really great question. And these children may already have gotten citizenship, but it depends on a lot of factors. So tell your friend that the best thing for them to do is to call an attorney, because there's a chart that we use to see whether the children qualify to have already acquired citizenship. So this is really important to talk to somebody who can assist them. There's a definite chart that we use, and the questions that we have to ask, and we have to have the answers to those questions to make that determination, okay? And if you need our assistance, call us 973-993-1900. So Olayinka 1779 says, how many months does it take citizens to come out after put it in? Don't understand that question. Can you clarify? And then official to no one says, how can they go about it for the other kids? The father is a U.S. citizen before he died. Call an attorney. You can call us. We'll help you. 973-993-1900. There's something called derivative citizenship, acquired citizenship. They have clear guidelines, but without knowing more, I cannot answer those questions. So you got to call. Hello, Farah. How are you? Hatoking says, I haven't approved I-360, but while my I-48 was pending before I filed for VAWA, do I still file another I-485? So Hatoking, this is a really great question. So you filed an I-485 and an I-360, an I-130, it appears to me, right? And then you went ahead and filed an I-360. So is your I-485 pending? It depends. You have to find out whether they made a decision on your I-485 already and denied it, because what you should have done when you filed the I-360 was to have written the field office and asked them to put the I-485 in abeyance, which is don't make a decision on it and move it to my VAWA case instead of the I-130. That's what you should have done when you file the I-360. But if you didn't do that, there is still a chance that your I-485 can still be moved to your VAWA case if it's still pending. So if it's still pending, you want to do that right away. Write a letter to the field office, send a copy to the VAWA unit, which is in Nebraska now, I think it's, and let them know that you have filed a VAWA, attach the receipt of the I-360, and ask them to move your I-485 to your I-360. There's a way we do it legally. So if you want us to assist you, call us 973-993-1900. Otherwise, I guess you can do it on your own, okay? But you want to first of all make sure that the I-485 is still pending. If it's not pending, then you have to file another I-485, okay? All right. Press Sherry said that you skipped my question. I'm sorry, but I didn't see the question. I'm really, the print is so tiny and I'm really straining to see these questions. But if you don't mind, just write the question again. I'm happy to answer these questions. That's why I'm here. Real Midday Josh says, I wish I'd met you on time. I love the way you analyze each of the topics on your live video. God bless you. I'll make sure to repost your video and recommend you to friends. Thank you so much, Real Midday Josh. I appreciate you. Let's keep going. Olayinka says, have put in my citizenship in for like 3 months now and have not heard anything yet. Okay, so you applied, you put in your N400 application for citizenship and you haven't heard anything in 3 months. Well, typically, I mean, I wouldn't worry right yet, but typically we're getting notices, receipts from N400s within, I'd say, like 4 weeks. So 3 months is a little bit, it's a while. But if they don't accept it, they'll return it. So they'll return it to you. So you might have mailed it to the wrong place, maybe, or maybe it's just taking a little while. Because honestly, there are just no rules with regards to USCIS and their receipts and all that. We're getting stuff earlier, but once in a while you'll get a case that it takes 2-3 months to get a receipt once in a while. So maybe yours is once in a while. So maybe give it another month. If you don't receive anything, maybe call the 1-800 number and maybe check your, what you may call it, check your cashed check. Did they cash the check? If they did, that's a good sign that they have received it. If they have not, then I don't know. All right. But maybe you should just call the 800 number, see if they can help you there. So how long does it take, please? Olayinka, how long does what take? Guys, honestly, okay. How long does it take? Yeah, I answered that question. So like I said, it just typically doesn't take us that long here, but sometimes there are cases that it just takes a while to get the receipt. So Nina G-Day says, can your work permit be withdrawn during the process of VAWA filing? Well, that's a question I don't really understand what you mean, but let me try. If you filed an I-130, an I-485, and you got your work permit through that I-130 filing, if the I-485 is denied, then your work permit will be denied, even if you file VAWA. So if you file VAWA, you have to file another I-485 and you'll get another work permit. Now, they won't take your work permit away from you while the VAWA is in process. You just have to keep renewing it. When the VAWA application, when the decision is made, if it's denied, then at that point, your I-485 is likely to be denied, and all the benefits that come from the I-485, which is your work permit, travel, parole, will likely be denied as well. All right, so let me go to YouTube, and then I'm gonna head out, guys. So Kamlesh says, ma'am, can you help me get a green card, please let me know. Thanks with your help. So Kamlesh, if I knew more about your case, I would tell you how you could get a green card, because there are specific, definite ways of getting a green card. So everyone cannot get a green card. You have to qualify for a green card. So if you want us to screen your case, screen you and your situation, then call my office, 973-993-1900. I hope that helps. So last question I'm going to take is Samuel Oti. Hey Samuel, how are you? So Samuel says, hi madam, please, who determines you need a waiver? In a 485 application marriage case, when there's misrepresentation issues, or can it be approved by favorable discretion? So Samuel, a waiver is discretionary. There's no there are no rights to a waiver. It's always discretionary. So you have to prepare a strong case requesting favorable discretion. Now, who determines whether you need a waiver? Well, sometimes if you know that there's been fraud or misrepresentation off the bat, you can file the 601 or 601A, whatever waiver you need, well, not the 601A, but if you're in an adjustment of status case, you might file the waiver along with the adjustment of status application if you already know there's a clear cut misrepresentation, or you could wait for you when you get to an interview and the officer tells you that you need a waiver. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to head out because it's 5:45. I need to go pick up my son from the bus stop, and I will be with you guys again next week. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.